Hello everyone! Today we'll learn about blood vessels. How many types of vessels are there in function? With what characteristics? What factors affect blood flow? Where does the pressure drop the most? To settle these questions, let's learn vessels, flow, and blood pressure. Blood vessels are the pipes transporting blood. According to function, vessels can be divided into 8 categories. Large artery include aorta, pulmonary trunk, and its largest branch. The wall of large artery is thick and contains abundant elastic fibers. Therefore, it has great elasticity, being called wind-castle vessel. During ventricular systole, the pressure in large artery increases to promote the blood flow. At the same time, make the large artery expand to store blood. When the ventricle stops ejection, the expanded artery recurs to put the blood flow. Therefore, cardiac ejection is intermittent, while the blood flowing is continuous. The wind-castle function can buffer artery pressure. Large artery branches into middle artery, which is called distribution vessel. Its main function is to transport blood to various organs and tissues. Middle artery branches into arteriole. Due to the small diameter, arteriole has the greatest resistance to blood flow, so it's called resistance vessel. It's in front of capillary, also called pre-resistance vessel. The smooth muscles are abundant in the wall of arteriole, and their activities can change the diameter significantly, thus regulate the blood flow. 1 to 2 smooth muscles wrap the beginning of capillaries, being called precapillary sphincter. It's part of the resistance vessels, can control the opening of capillaries. Capillaries are located between arteriole and venules, being interconnected to form a net. The wall has only one layer endothelial cells, surrounded by basement membrane, so has the highest permeability. Capillary is the main place for material exchange, being called exchange vessel. Due to the small diameter, venules have a certain resistance to the blood flow, being called post-resistance vessel. It only accounts for a small part of the total resistance. Their activity can affect the ratio of resistance before and after capillary, then change the capillary pressure, blood flow, and filtration, thereby affect the fluid distribution inside and outside vessels. Compared with the arteriole of the same grade, veins are more, the wall is thin, and the caliber is large. At rest, veins hold 60 to 70% of the circulating volume, being called capacity vessel. There are some anastomic vessels between arterioles and venules, being called AV shunt. They exist mainly in the skin. If the AV shunt contracted, the blood would enter the venule directly, thereby decrease the H radiation. Next, introduce the relationship between flow resistance and blood pressure. The amount of blood passing through a certain section of vessels in unit time is called blood flow, also known as volume velocity. The blood flow is proportional to the pressure difference between vessels' two ends, but inversely proportional to the resistance. The resistance to blood flow comes from the friction between blood components and the wall of vessels. It's proportional to the length of vessels and the blood's viscosity, while inversely proportional to the force power of vessel radius. The most important factor affecting the resistance is the vessel radius. Arteriole is the place with the biggest resistance. As a single capillary, the radius is the smallest, but the number of capillaries is large, so the total cross-section is not small. It can be seen from the figure that the place with the smallest radius is arteriole, at where the pressure and the blood flowing velocity drop the greatest. So, arterioles are often called resistance vessels. Blood pressure is the lateral pressure of flowing blood on the wall of vessels, which is divided into arterial pressure, venous pressure, and capillary pressure. The unit commonly used is millimeters of mercury. Generally speaking, blood pressure is arterial pressure. Blood pressure in large artery drops very little, so often measure the pressure in brachial artery to represent the arterial pressure. Today, we've learned the functional classification of vessels, resistance to blood flow, and blood pressure. We should master the mean function of different vessels. From the function, large artery is wind castle vessel, middle artery is distribution vessel, arteriole is resistance vessel, capillary is exchange vessel, venule is post-resistance vessel, vein is capacity vessel. The mean factor affecting the resistance to blood flow is vascular radius. The place with the biggest resistance is arteriole. Neural and humoral factors can regulate blood pressure and blood flow through changing vascular radius. Thank you for listening. See you.